Oh no!
Control. Let's talk about it. What is going on, guys? My name is Xerax. I hope that you're having a good day and welcome to the channel. Today in this video, I want to talk about Control. I mean, we could talk about PvP all day long and discuss its current condition, but today in this video, I just want to focus on Control. And what I want to do is I want to give 5 key points of what I think is really hurting Control right now in its current condition, and then offer what I think might be some solutions. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing first is skill-based matchmaking. Let's just get that elephant out of the room. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, when this first came in for matchmaking, I was for it. I was excited about the idea because I personally like the idea that I could play and that I can actually be able to kind of get a nice judge of my skill level.
Zone B locked.
But over time, I have since changed my opinion on skill-based matchmaking, because as you continue to play more games, you start to notice that there is a big issue. There is a lot of connection issues.
You captured Zone A. You have advantage.
I mean, I've had plenty of times where I'm shooting somebody and maybe they kill me before I kill them, right? And then all of a sudden they die too. I mean, we've seen that happen with like, melees, that's happened since Destiny 1. But I'm talking about where you're shooting, or maybe you stop shooting, or maybe you just whatever, like, and then they'll die, right? Or you're just like, I don't think I should have got that kill, but okay, or I've even had a throwing knife go through my shield, and just like, I could save so many clips of all the stuff that has been happening. But one thing that I've noticed is that not taking connection first is really putting a hurt on Control. And I know that Destiny runs off this peer-to-peer hybrid connection server thing, whatever it is. But what this has shown us currently is at least in Destiny's current state, it cannot handle doing skill-based matchmaking. So what is the solution to this issue? The solution, of course, obviously is just taking skill-based matchmaking out, at least currently, until they can figure out how they can get the connection issues in check. I know that has been on all fronts of the game lately, and it seems like it gets worse with every season. So just take the skill-based matchmaking out. Although I do know at the time of recording this video, they have recently announced that they have made fine adjustments to the matchmaking. So I don't know if that means that they just completely took it out, or if it's really just fine adjustments, whatever. So we'll see if there's enough uproar, maybe they'll just take it out. Maybe this is them taking it out. I haven't hopped on to check it out yet, but there it is. Okay, so the second thing is going to be Twitter penalties. This is another elephant in the room too, and this ties with the skill-based matchmaking. The thing about quitter penalties and skill-based matchmaking is that, like, this is all present now in what's essentially supposed to be like the casual playlist, right? This is supposed to Control is essentially the team deathmatch of Call of Duty, if you know what I mean. Like, in Call of Duty, the mass population of the game is going to be in team deathmatch, and so that's what it is for Destiny. Control is Destiny's team deathmatch. Having quitter penalties for that if you leave is kind of insane. Now, the reason obviously that those quitter penalties happen is because there has been a huge increase over the seasons of people just leaving games. And I know there's been a lot of reasons put out there of why this is most likely happening, or why people do leave games. And it's because, right, you people say, oh, well, people have lives, right? Or something comes up, and you just have to leave. It's just how it is. And I do 100% agree with that. But I will say In my current situation, I play a lot of PvP, and most of the time, the guys that I see leave are the guys who are sitting up on that intro screen. You know which ones I'm talking about, the ones with that super high KDA ratio. When the game goes left, though, when the game takes a left turn, those guys are out of there. You're gonna have stat patterns, right? You know, it just comes with any game, right? Any PvP game, you're gonna have people who are gonna leave. If they can do whatever they can to not hurt their stats, they're gonna take it, right? There's some people who take that stuff very seriously. That said, I'm not saying that is a good enough reason why they should have quitter penalties, right? Because at the end of the day, it is supposed to be the casual playlist. So having quitter penalties and skill-based matchmaking, it's a little much. It really is. So obviously, the obvious solution for this is obviously to just get rid of the quitter penalties. I want to see a change. I think it is very annoying to be in-game. And then to have people leave, especially because a lot of the time the game won't repopulate itself, which, I mean, most people don't want to join a game that's already in progress anyways. But it just ends up for a bad time for everybody, you know. But I think the question that Bungie needs to ask is, why are people leaving? Why are people leaving PvP matches all of a sudden? Because this wasn't always like this, right? So this has been happening a lot more recently. So there we go. All right, so the third thing is going to be maps. Guys, we are playing. Do you realize that we are playing on the same maps that came out Destiny 2 Vanilla? That is a very different PvP experience than it currently is right now. Destiny 2 Vanilla was a way more balanced, much slower paced version of PvP. And those maps were designed for 4v4, while we are 6v6, and the pace is way faster in Destiny. Cutting straight to the solution here, the solution is we need more maps, like a lot more maps. Like, I know that Bungie is not going to do this, right? But I wish that they would just take all these maps and just put them in like a classic playlist. That way, if you enjoyed the suffering and pain of the current PvP experience, you know, on these maps, then you can still go and enjoy those maps. Because I mean, some of those maps are nice, right? But let's face it, again, a lot of those maps are designed for 4v4. We have gotten a couple of new maps. We got Conjunction, and then we got one that came from Destiny 1, which was Cathedral of Husk, which I love that map in Destiny 1. And in Destiny 2, it is like the absolute worst map ever. From my personal experience, I hate playing on Cathedral of Husk. Like, I'm so disappointed on how it feels in Destiny 2. But that said, what we need, and we're not going to get it, is we need Bungie to just be like, hey, screw it. Here's 10 new maps. And I know that sounds insane. Like, we know that's not going to happen, right? But I really think that's what they need at this point. They need to make a whole set of new maps that are designed with the PvP experience that we currently have. And that's the issue that we have right now, is that our maps are not designed for the fast pace and how many players are on the map right now. All right, so the fourth thing is going to be spawn points and spawn times. I know that I can't be the only one who feels this way, but does it just feel like there's way too many guys on the map at one time? I swear every engagement has at least 2-3 guys. Like, and for a little bit I thought, did my map awareness just like deteriorate or something? And over time it just kept happening every single engagement practically. And then like maybe I'll find the one guy who's by himself, right? And then I'm like, yes, finally I can engage without being team shotted to death. But then all of a sudden there's a guy in this corner and a guy in that hallway, in that doorway.
Fighting with heart, Guardian. It is yours.
I'm in danger.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
And I swear it's like the enemy team is always functioning like a hive mind or something, you know? Like you go to shoot one guy and all of a sudden they all come out of nowhere and then your team shot it to death. And I think that the issue stems from the respawn points and the respawn times. Respawn points in the sense of engaging with somebody and then having the teammates spawn directly on them while I'm engaged with this person. So obviously, right, I'm not gonna, maybe I'll win that engagement, right? But then I'm gonna die in the process, which that's not any fun. So you have that issue. And then I think that issue, like, I mean, spawn points, right, they can be complicated. But I think the issue derives more from the spawn times itself. Now, this is where I'm gonna get controversial, okay? Like, just hear me out here, okay? I'm not saying they should, but like, maybe we need to look at respawn times. You know, maybe we're spawning back way too fast. And trust me, I am the type where as soon as I die, I am ready to get back up. I'm smashing that button like it's gonna do something. It's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna make me spawn faster. But I'm ready to go already. Like, put me back in, dang it. But I think that that's an issue that we have currently, is I think that we're just spawning back way too fast. And this is ending up where we're constantly in, it's like you're constantly getting team shotted, which sucks, especially in the current situation of PvP, where everyone at this point has grown to essentially using the cheapest weapon strat possible. I mean, why use your gun when you could just like throw on a grenade launcher or a fusion rifle or something? And the idea is really just to have the most no-brain strategy ever, where you can just get the kill as easy as possible. And that's just the way that it is currently right now, you know? So maybe we could, at least to try and put some balance on this, is just increase the respawn time just a little bit more punishment for dying. That way you're not completely getting slammed by guys, because again, you're not going to win those team shots ever.
And you fail.
You're just not. There's the time to kills of everything has just decreased by so much, right? And there's so many ways to get damage buffs and etc. That's going to be the next topic. I'll get back into that. But ideally, yes, solution, if we can, is maybe we should increase the respawn times just a little bit. Okay, I'm not saying you have to agree with me, but maybe right, maybe that's something that could be a solution, which could tie in also with maps, because obviously, right, are we going to get 10 new maps from Bungie, right? Are they just going to slap 10 new maps on us? No, that's not going to happen. But it's most likely that Bungie could touch something like that, which might help, right? Until we can get more new maps, which we should get more new maps. We need a lot more new maps, but maybe for the current time, until we get maps that are designed for our PvP experience, we tone down this respawn time, you know, or shall I say, add it up, increase the respawn time. All right, so the fifth and final thing that I want to talk about is going to be abilities. Bungie, whatever happened with the idea of making gunplay first in PvP? It's like we got the 3.0 of all of our abilities, and then all of a sudden it's just like that just went out the window, right? It's like, what happened? Because PvP is suffering very hard from abilities like being able to get instant damage buffs, or overshields, or invisibility, okay? And how those kinds of things really affect the PvP experience in whole is, I mean, if someone's able to stack all these crazy damage buffs, and you've created all these different ways to get damage buffs, then all of a sudden that weapon that you engage with, right, that you might understand that you could take that weapon on, right, all of a sudden it becomes a powerhouse, right? And then you're just like, oh wait, what? Like, it just feels bad, right? It feels bad to go against someone who is stacking on tons of these damage buffs, right? And it might not be so apparent when you run into them that they are loaded on damage buffs, right? So then they kill you super fast with something that probably makes no sense that it killed you that fast, right? And you're like, what? And then it's like, most people aren't going to take the time to think, oh, he probably had this and this and that and this damage buff on top of each other, which is why I probably died so fast to that, right? We're gamers, right? We don't have the patience like that, okay? That just doesn't exist, right? And the same for overshields. You got Titans running around with overshields all the time. You know, they're much tankier. I would say the big problem with Titans lately has been with the arc, right? We have the frontal shield, right? We have frontal shield now, and then if you pair that with like the exotic boost that give you that, I can't remember what it's called, but it, like when you slide, right, it gives you that reflective shield. Like, those guys are unstoppable. If they got a fusion or a shotgun, you're done. You're just done, okay? And then in the hunters with invisibility is
Guess what, bitch?
hunters with invisibility. This is like a big one in my opinion. I'm sorry, I don't mean to point you hunters out specifically about having like probably the worst thing that is probably hindering PvP the most, and that is invisibility. This has been in the game, right? This has been in the game the whole time, but back then the trade-off of getting that was that you would have a less PvP tailored, right, set of abilities, right? But now you can just slot that in with whatever. So now, right, all you see is hunters running around with it all the time, and how can you blame them? You can't blame them because it's so good, right? And the reason that it's so good is because it's like there's so much mobility in the game, right, that even though they may have made a change where like hunters, even if they're invisible, are going to ping on the map, it doesn't matter because one, the map works at a delay. Okay, anybody that knows how the map works, they know it works at a delay, right? It's not going to give you the live time where that person is. Also, the mobility, right? The game is too fast for that ping to matter, right? And when you're able to kill someone within a second, right, of engaging them, by the time you might notice where they are on your screen, it might be too late, and a lot of the time it is too late. So that's a big issue, and it really puts a hurting on the idea of things like map awareness, right? And also positioning, right? How can you be in a good position, right, when you have invisible hunters running around all the time? You know what I mean? How can you be in a good position with bad maps or bad respawn points, right? It's just, it's difficult, right? So I mean, to me, it just feels like you can, like, every position is a bad position. That's what it feels like currently. But yeah, abilities right now, they're pretty rampant. And I know I said I was going to offer a solution for everything, but this one, I really don't know. I don't know what Bungie can do about this. I mean, they could do things where it's like, okay, if you're using, right, overshield or using the invisibility, right, that, you know, maybe the time, maybe the time that it takes to get those ability back is decreased, right? Or increase, shall I say, right? That it's going to take longer to get that invisible dodge back. It's going to take longer to get that wall with the overshield, right? Or something like that. And I'm not going to say that that's a good option, right? Because ideally, maybe if all the other things that I've listed, right, like the maps and the respawn points, etc., right, the skill-based matchmaking, taking that out, maybe if you get rid of all that stuff, right, this, like, the ability thing isn't going to be so much of a problem. And I think that another thing that ties into that too is just figuring out like how to balance the guns properly. Abilities, you know, it's so wild now, and to be honest, like, when you play, you kind of just look at it and you're just like, I don't even know how you balance this. The way that the game functions, the way Destiny functions, right, it's not going to be balanced, right? That's never going to happen. But it doesn't have to be this bad. But at this point, because they've just let everything go rampant, how do you fix it now? I don't even know where you would begin with this. So I'm sorry, Bungie, you're on your own on that one. But yeah, that is my 5 things that I think are hurting Control the most. And you know, hopefully we can get hopefully we can get some things fixed, some actual fixes sometime soon. It would be nice if Bungie would just take the time to actually fix the PvP experience, because it's been neglected for years. You know what I mean? It's And like for me, you know, PvP is my end game. That's where I go. I'm a solo player and I spend a lot of time in PvP. That's where I spend most of my time, is in PvP, playing that. And yeah, so I've been dealing with this experience for a very long time, and I've always tried to adapt and try to use new things or whatever, you know, whatever I had to do to make that experience better. But at this point, it's gotten so out of control. Like, it is so bad. And like right now, Control just, it almost feels like you're punished for playing it. It's like you have the audacity to play Control, like, we'll teach you a lesson. You know, that's what it feels like, you know. And that sucks. You know, that sucks, because that is where the majority of the PvP community is. We got to do something about this, you know. But if you stuck around, you watched the video, I really appreciate it. As you can see, no script, just rambling, for better or for worse. But I mean, if you guys want more videos like this, just let me know. Let me know down in the comments, and I really do appreciate all you guys for listening, tuning in. I hope that you guys have a good day, and peace.